Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and when it comes to making money online, this video is all about side hustles. And that basically means you're actually able to do these things at the same time while you keep a full-time job. To me, that's very important because these ways to make money, and I mean big money, it takes time to build them up. So I would not recommend you go ahead and you quit your job to do this and then make no money while you build it up, okay? Now, I also want to clarify one thing which is actually very important. When I say easy, I mean anything that you actually can do. And if it's easy to do, then it's also easy not to do, but you gotta do it. That's my definition of easy, and you also have to work hard at it, okay? That's what Jim Rohn always says. And then on top of that, when I say big money is relative to the person you are and what your goals actually are. You know, an extra $40,000 a year, it might sound like a lot of money to you, it might not sound like much money to you, you might want to make $1 million, but these side hustles I included, they don't really have per se a cap, so you can actually turn it up to make you a lot more money or just enough money for you to actually be more comfortable. Like there are ones in here that can make you $1,000 per month, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, or for example, replace your job overall. It's actually up to you on how far you actually want to take it. Now, as always, guys, like this video on top of also subscribe and hit the bell to get notified, and let me share with you these 7 side hustles that make you some big money. Now, the very first one, guys, is actually blogging. Blogging is kind of tricky, okay? Because the idea is you're gonna start blogging about things online on the internet. You have your own little website, you have no traffic, nobody knows you, your topic might be boring, no one might be interested in it, and it takes a while to actually make money. However, the average blogger makes around $38,000. There's also blogs out there that make, for example, $1.5 million a year. So there's obviously somewhere around there is success curve. Someone's making money, so if someone's able to do it, you're actually able to do it also. Now, my advice for you is this, guys. When you're trying to do these side hustles, because a side hustle is something you do on the side, it would be crazy to do something you dislike with your extra time, okay? Makes absolutely no sense. So my advice is look for something you like, you're good at, and it's gonna make you money. So when you're looking for a topic to talk about on your blog, pick something you're good at, you actually like, and it's actually gonna make you money. And then you start posting about it. Now, my advice is also this, okay? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go out there and say, I'm gonna learn about SEO optimization. I'm gonna learn how to advertise. I'm gonna learn all this stuff by myself via trial and error, via flames of fire. The answer is no. Take a little Google course. Take a little YouTube course. Take a little paid course. It's a lot less expensive, trust me, to pay a course to save you a bunch of time, okay? When I started doing YouTube, which by the way is number 2 here, YouTube, the average YouTuber might make off 100K subscribers around $1,000 to $2,000 per month, which is actually a good amount of money. But it actually takes a lot of time to actually build up to that. So again, the same concept applies. Pick a subject, pick a niche you actually like, you're good at, and you're actually gonna make some money, okay? Where the competition is not that high. Find your niche somewhere. And it's not just about getting paid off YouTube, but you can actually get paid by doing calls, doing PDFs, doing ebooks. There's a lot of ways to monetize your audience without getting monetized on YouTube, if you know what I mean, okay? But when I first started on YouTube, I did it via trial of fire. I tried to figure out everything on my own, and I figured it out, part of it, and then I actually learned working with somebody else, and then I actually learned even more taking a course by Graham Stephan, and that course kind of opened up my eyes even more. So courses, they help, whether they're free or paid. Learn what you're actually involving yourself into the system so you know how to play. But it's kind of like trying to use a toaster without actually pressing toast. Don't make no sense, you know what I mean? So YouTube is also a valid way to actually make some money. It does take time, but guess what? Even if you just have 1,000 subscribers, if you can get, for example, 10% of those people, which is about like, let's say 100 people, to pay you $5 a month, 100 times 5, that's $500 a month if you're actually including some value. But again, remember, value is first. If you chase money, you probably won't get there because these side hustles, they take time to actually build up, and that's why you can actually make big money, because if it wasn't gonna take you time to build it up, everyone would be doing it, thus there would be less money to actually give you. Now, number 3, guys, is gonna be become an ads expert. Now, when I say ads, I mean ADS, ads expert. That basically means you do the advertising and the marketing for a business and a company. You might say, Tommy, I have no experience. I never went to college. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how it works. The answer is Don't overcomplicate it, okay? The good thing about living in the 21st century, is it 21st or 22nd? I really don't know. But the good thing about living in 2022 is that any skill that you don't have, you can actually learn it for free online via YouTube or some online course out there. So the idea is very simple. Let's say you have a restaurant, your local restaurant. You're like, yo, this restaurant is awesome. Your local gym, which is actually pretty awesome. You're like, yo, I can actually help you get more members. I can actually help you get more customers. How can you do that, Tommy? Well, I know how to post your business on Facebook, and I actually know how to convert those people to actually become customers in your business. And you might ask me, Tommy, how much money can this make me? The answer is, let's say you have a $1,000 plan. You say, hey, I'm going to charge you $1,000 for my services per month. And you give me, for example, an ads budget, and I basically use that from your credit card also, right? Or your debit card. And if I can bring in, for example, $30,000 a month or $10,000 or $5,000 in extra business, well, it's a no-brainer, right? Because I'm making more money than I'm costing you. So it makes sense. Now imagine you have 10 of those clients or 15 or 20 or 30. I mean, that's a lot of money coming in per month. Whether you have, for example, a beginner plan at $250, a basic plan at $500, or for example, a platinum plan at $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, okay? The amount of money you charge is really, it doesn't really matter, but I recommend though, for example, when you first get started, you charge an amount to actually get you a lot of experience and actually learn a lot. But the better you get at it, you can actually charge extra money, and depending on your customers, it really doesn't matter how much you charge. If you charge me $100K per month and you're actually able to bring me $1 million per month in revenue, I mean, it's a no-brainer, okay? It's peanuts compared to what you're actually able to bring me. So the cost of what you get is relative to what you actually can give to that business. So that's why I say there's no cap in these side hustles, but they do take time for you to actually accomplish what you actually want to accomplish with them. Now, number 4 here is gonna be start an e-commerce website. So whether you have a product to sell, a course to sell, or for example, let's say you want to do drop shipping, which by the way would probably be the way I would go about it. And the idea is very basic. And by the way, I would focus on building up a brand. So let's say I open up a Shopify store and I want to start being known for selling, for example, jewelry. Okay, so I want to sell some jewelry. Now all of a sudden, in reality, when you buy my jewelry, I buy from somewhere else. I ship it to you. I don't have any inventory. I don't have, for example, any lag time between your cash because you pay me immediately. So it's a very simple business to actually do. And on top of that, I just earn a profit. Now, all of a sudden, I'm known as Tommy's Jewelry or James Allen's Jewelry or Kay's Jewelry. Tommy's Jewelry is the best jewelry, right? Because I build up this brand. I have this Instagram account. I have influencers that wear it. I do the advertising. I do the promoting. I'm building up a brand, okay? And I also read the books on brand creation because it's also important. All of a sudden, you want to shop for my jewelry, okay? And it's like, I'm just buying from somewhere else. But you don't really care about that because I shop for quality. It's like Wayfair. You know, Wayfair, if I recall correctly, they don't actually have all that like inventory. They just basically drop ship from other places, okay? So that's the idea. That's the cool thing. So e-commerce is pretty solid. Learn everything about it. You can actually build it up. But whenever you see somebody say, oh, learn to make some money on e-commerce within the first 3 days. I mean, it's cool to see some dollar bills in your account, but you're probably not going to make a lot of money in 3 days, if you know what I mean, right? It takes time. That's the point. And don't put all your money into it. Start small, little by little, and build up, okay? Now, number 5 is flipping things on eBay. And also doing garage sales. By far, my favorite one of all time. Now, let's say you spend an extra 10, 20 hours per week doing this. And you might say, Tommy, what? Am I going to go to Goodwill or go to garage sales all day and just basically shop for little toys and clothes? The answer is yeah. I mean, I know of this lady. I know of this story. The lady did this for like 10, 20 hours a week. And now that's an extra $133,000 a year that she basically earns. And if you ask me, that's a good amount of money for 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week, if you know what I mean, right? So and by the way, whenever I buy my clothes on eBay, which by the way, I usually buy my pants on eBay and my shoes sometimes on eBay, not really my shirts, not anymore at least, but whenever I shop for my pants, and they usually cost like $90, like retail. I can shop for like for $25, but that person found it in some Goodwill, good condition. The thing looks great for like $5, so that's a 5 times profit boom, right there, just on a weekend, okay? So you can build up this whole inventory with a little $100 bill or $200 bill, and all of a sudden you're selling left and right and you're making some good money. So I love flipping things online. The reason I chose eBay, you can do eBay, you can do Facebook, you can do your own website, but overall, you gotta remember, right? Traffic is everything. So if the customers are already there and they're waiting for the product, that's a lot better than you actually having the product and having to build up and get the traffic from the customer base because you want to build your own website. You can do that eventually, but for the most part, just paying eBay like 10% commission or whatever it is, it's a lot better than having to build your own brand to actually sell your stuff, if you know what I mean, okay? Now, number 6 is actually proofreading. If I did proofreading, and by the way, this is actually proofreading an autopilot, so it's actually different than just proofreading, which basically means I have this whole script. I want you to read it and let me know what I misspelled or my grammatic errors or whatever, right? Which sounds pretty good. And if you are my editor, and Paul, you're probably watching this, you can comment if you want to. I don't really care. I'm not embarrassed. But if you ever go through my scripts, they're terrible, okay? My grammar is terrible. So I had to pay a lot of money to get some proofreading, if I actually paid money to actually have stuff. Don't read my description, please, okay? But the idea is, imagine you're getting paid 15 bucks or 20 bucks an hour to do some proofreading, but you build up a solid customer base, for example, with a few students or a university or a company or whatever it is, and all of a sudden you have this company and these clients that always send you work. Well, you can just hire another proofreader and he can basically do all the proofreading for you, and you just make money by just having money on the difference. And in reality, your job goes from being a proofreader to just being an acquisitioner of new customers to have some proofreading work for those proofreaders that you actually hire. Whether you have 1 or 2 or 3 is dependable on how big you actually build up the business overall. Now imagine if you go even further, you're like, okay, I'm gonna grab all these things, put them together, I'm gonna build a website, I'm gonna build a brand about proofreading, I'm gonna hire all these proofreaders, I'm gonna become the best one at it, and all of a sudden, well, now you're known for it, and now you make some good money, and that side hustle turns into an entire company. Again, there is no cap, there is no ceiling on these entire side hustles, and that's why I picked them. Again, when I say easy, easy is something you can do, and you also work hard at it. So keep that in mind. Now, number 7, and the last one here, is write an ebook. And by far, this is the hardest one, because to actually sit down and write an ebook and create value, which whether you want to write, for example, an ebook based on money or a novel, romantic, whatever it is, or a comedy, whatever you want to write, right? Then you got to go ahead and you got to do the promotion part, the advertising part. You actually have to get somebody to actually care enough to actually buy it. A lot of books are written every single year, and very little actually survive, very little actually make it anywhere, and very little actually make any money whatsoever. So the idea is, it's not just about the product and what you have. You might have the best book, but in reality, you got to know exactly how to advertise it. And that comes down to, remember, as you watch this video, and we made it to the end here, okay? So we made it all the way here. Comment down below side. So I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. So that's S-I-D-E, side. But the overall idea is, remember, if I'm saying something and you don't know what I'm talking about, and you're like, I don't know the process to that, don't be afraid to go on YouTube, take some tutorials, take a little course, okay, and pay some money on it, okay, whether it's $5, $10, $20, and or just like take some free content online. Everything is free online these days, or just read a book for like $10, $15. It's very cheap to actually do it. But overall, I wouldn't recommend you pay like a $2,000 course, a $5,000 master course. That's just a little excessive, okay? Just do the basics and you start practicing while you start doing things, you start learning on the way. That to me is pretty cool. That to me is pretty awesome. It takes time, but it's worth it in the end. And again, that's basically it. Those are 7 side hustles that if you do, you could make some big money, but only if you build up to it. By the way, here's a bonus for making it all the way to the video, and that's basically using Amazon and selling on Amazon. So if you go to Ross, Burlington, Walmart discount stores, you shop there, get all that discount stuff, sell it on Amazon via Amazon Arbitrage or Amazon FBA, whatever they want to call it these days. The answer is you're actually able to make some money. But again, if these words sound like you don't know what I'm talking about, just do some research or ask me and I'll make a video on one of these side hustles specifically, and I'll do like a whole full thing on it, and that way you get all the information you need. Comment down below, let me know. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. Comment down below any questions. Up here is another video. Over here is my face, click subscribe, and as always, long-term team officially out.